This podcast is part of the Blueberry Network at blueberry.com. That's blueberry with no e's.com.
Right on America is brought to you
by a generous grant from the Built on Dreams Media Network,
as well as the Sims Media Foundation,
and from listeners like you.
Stand by, please. Rolling on 6. On 6.
This is Adam Scull. Welcome to another episode of Right on America. Amy Penn is a native New York journalist. Following her mentor, renowned newspaper columnist Eugenia Sheppard's legendary Odyssey, Amy inherited Eugenia's column in the New York Post. Amy's column, Around the Town, brought to vivid life New York and international society. The column cultivated close to 1 million readers in New York and was a must-read in the Palm Beach Daily News. Penn has contributed to Interview, Town & Country, Avenue, the Palm Beach Post, CNN, and a myriad of polo publications. Currently, Amy is the author of a weekly column for NewYorkNatives.com and the author of Diosa, One Mare's Odyssey on the Planet Earth. Charles Scribner's review of the book flows like a poetic realization of every author's fantasy review. 5 out of 5 stars, a heavenly ride, he writes. This special book, as beautiful to behold as to read, is pure magic, a delight for growing and grown children of all ages. The author, Amy Penn, has taken Horse Whisperer to the next level, the Horse Muse. She records and relates Diosa's literally divine tale with grace and the highest form of literary skill, art concealing while revealing art. She clearly knows and loves her subject, and the result, this short but powerful classic tale of enduring pleasure, is both enchanting and heartwarming. Read on, ride onward. Amy Penn is the founder of Right on America, a Facebook group that has stretched and flourished into a website and podcast under Adam Scull's unique creative input, if you will allow me to speak of myself in the third person for just a moment. You followed in the giant footsteps of your 5-foot-tall mentor, Eugenia Sheppard, one of the world's most powerful and widely syndicated newspaper columnists. How did this happen?
I was working for a public relations man named Bud Kalish. He was quite close to Eugenia. Her assistant had taken an extra week off. She needed an assistant, so he sent a different one over to her for a week. I was one of the chosen.
Did you ever have any desire to become a society columnist?
Actually, when I was in high school, my senior year, they gave us the assignment of writing a satirical essay, and I wrote it on high society.
Did you seek out the role, or did fate play a part?
If Linda hadn't taken an extra week with her lover, Eugenia hadn't been romantic enough to enjoy that, and I hadn't been at Bud's and sent there, that wouldn't have happened. I also met my ex-husband working for him at that time.
The first day that you walked into Eugenia's office, how did that make you feel?
I was so in awe of her. She was kind of, hi, I'm Eugenia, and let's work. Her simplicity was so extraordinary. She was no frills.
Today, gossip is omnipresent. When you worked as a columnist, it was a different era. Susie, Eugenia Sheppard, and Liz Smith wrote columns that people wanted to be in. Many paid publicists for that privilege. What was that era like? What changed?
Aileen Maley, who was Susie, said it very well. She said she would never apologize for writing gossip. If you look at a newspaper, it's cover-to-cover gossip. Now we're just so inundated with every time a celebrity twitches her eyelash, it's too much reality. There's no mystique. There's no real sex appeal to it. Those columns were about the glamour. It was a peek into style as opposed to money, money, money. You didn't talk about money then. It was considered really gauche.
Unlike today, where it's only considered half gauche.
It is nonstop today. I challenge you to meet a people who can spend 1 hour without using the word money.
Would you like to be one of the leading newspaper columnists today? because you seem to have replaced writing about people and focusing on horses and polo.
I still write a column that I'm really enjoying. It's for NewYorkNatives.com. They call it vintage gossip, so I guess the word gossip is everywhere. It doesn't have this awful competitive edge that you have to have news faster than anybody else. I enjoy that. I thought if I'm only a good writer because of what information I have, then I'm not a good writer.
What do you like most about your job?
I can be selective about who I'm talking about. The humor, I like the nostalgia aspect of it. I like questions some of my editors ask me. It also shows that they don't know much about a time period I'm writing about. That's writing about history to some degree.
What do you like least about the job?
It's on the cutting edge of gossip. You just can't really get away from it.
What would you have liked to be other than a columnist?
A polo player.
But you did do that for a while.
As an amateur.
Who or what inspired you to become a writer?
My English teacher at the Hewitt School in New York, her name was Elizabeth Delman, and she was a phenomenal teacher, and she was pretty tough.
If you had to do it all over again, would you undergo the same path?
Absolutely, but I'd take a few lefts instead of rights and a few rights instead of lefts.
What advice would you give to authors just entering the field?
You better really want it badly. It's a very tough field, and you're going to be criticized and rejected and ignored and lied to and praised and lauded. You're going to hit peaks and valleys. Some of your great work may never be published, and some of your mediocre work might rise to the top. Better fasten your seatbelt and be prepared for the ride.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Write on America.
Located on the internet at www.writeonamerica.us.
Join us again next time for another edition of Write on America. Once in a lifetime, the theme music for Write on America, courtesy Stephen Paul, used by permission, copyright the Built on Dreams Media Network, all rights reserved.